Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
So 66-year-old South Carolina resident David Johnston was an attorney when he participated in the attack at the Capitol, and he previously did some contract work for the United States Department of Defense. So both Johnston and his co-defendant, a guy named Chad Clifton, repeated election fraud fairy tales. This was in the lead up to January 6th. And they expressed excitement and they were hopeful that Donald Trump was going to overturn the election. Johnston was seen on the Capitol grounds on January 6th wearing a Trump 45 snow cap, and he and Clifton recorded as others were throwing various objects at the police. They were berating them. They were also present and recording when the police set off a high-pitched siren. And then they announced over a loudspeaker, quote, "This is the Metropolitan Police Department. This area is now a restricted access area. All people must leave the area immediately." He and his friend remained. They continued filming. They recorded the mob that had at that point had begun physically attacking the police. Then the two men made their way to the Capitol entrance, and Johnston recorded a video of himself and Clifton in which Johnston said, quote, "We've broken past the barrier. We've reached the doors of the Capitol." Then Clifton added, quote, "We've broken past the barrier. The policemen have been overwhelmed." Approximately 10 minutes after the initial breach of the Capitol, Johnston and his friend were seen on surveillance video. They illegally entered. There were alarms blaring inside the building as well. Other people were climbing in through windows right next to them. There was broken glass on the floor scattered around. So Johnston and Clifton walked throughout various areas of the building. They witnessed and filmed numerous crimes being committed by members of the mob. There were violent confrontations with officers. They saw all of this. After approximately 30 minutes inside the building, Johnston and his friend exited through a broken window. Another clue there. And then following January 6th, Johnston and Clifton messaged each other and they were expressing fear about being found out. And Johnston told Clifton that he was concerned about the government using facial recognition technology to, quote, "try and make trouble for people." I mean, should have thought of that before. And he also said that it would be because, quote, "Dems might be looking for revenge." Yeah, not because you committed crimes. Johnston also advised Clifton to, quote, "keep quiet," quote, "say nothing." And he posited the idea of drafting an immunity agreement that they could offer to the government in exchange for their cooperation and then, ultimately their freedom. So Johnston was arrested on May 20th of 2022. He was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading in a Capitol. Following Johnston's arrest, he gave several interviews in which he referred to January 6th and his arrest as, quote, "politically charged." And he claimed that his arrest was being used to, quote, "gin up as much publicity around this January 6th stuff as they possibly can going into the midterms." But then when Johnston spoke to the FBI following his arrest, he told a very different story. He said, "Oh, I made a dreadful mistake entering the Capitol." And then he claimed that after he saw a member of the mob inside the building carrying an axe, he decided, "Oh, it's time to leave. We got to get out of here." Video evidence proves he's full of it. But in September of 2022, Johnston pleaded guilty to the parading charge. So he was facing up to 6 months in jail, 5 years of probation, and $5,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested only 42 days in jail, 3 years of probation, and $500 in restitution. Johnston's attorney, as you can guess, asked for only 12 months of probation. I couldn't find any details about what may have been said in court for the sentencing hearing. And in fact, journalists complain that for some reason, the judge didn't allow audio access to the proceedings, which they normally do. So I don't know what was going on with that, but U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell presided over this case, and she ended up sentencing Johnston to 21 days in jail, 90 days of house arrest, 3 years of probation, a $2,500 fine, and $500 in restitution. And then beyond his formal sentence, Johnston lost his job at the law firm that he was working at, and the South Carolina Supreme Court suspended his law license. I also read that he has a new employer, but I don't believe he's working in the legal field anymore. But anyway, I'm pretty shocked that Judge Howell didn't give the prosecutor the full 42 days. It's really an anomaly for her to reduce the sentence like this. Anyway, I think this was very inadequate, honestly, and especially because this guy lied. I mean, he just is full of it. So I think just for that alone, they should have given him the full 42 days, if not much more. Anyway, if I hear any more, I'll let you know. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And please like, please share, subscribe, please become a monthly donor if you possibly can through Supercast, or make a one-time donation. Anything you can do to help keep the show going, I greatly appreciate. Thank you all so much. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.